Okay.
Very light, very well. I can't wait to see
I
it
should,
tomorrow.
I should.
You guys did great.
I wouldn't mind being out here.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
like, I like so.
So you don't pass.
Call to order the meeting on Monday, August 4th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America,
and to the
and
republic
of which it stands, one nation, under
Under
God, indivisible.
Liberty and justice for all.
Before we quickly do the roll call, Joel, obviously you're coming in remotely and Sarah's out. So roll call, please, Jen.
Mayor Vogel,
Here.
council members Mulebauer,
Here,
Faunus,
Here.
Robinson,
Here.
On to approval of tonight's agenda. Do I have an approval for tonight's agenda?
Make that motion, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Robinson. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Councilman Faunas. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 we
Opposed,
got a roll call because I'm on
Oh.
Zoom, unfortunately.
Sorry, I forgot, Joe. You're right.
All good.
Roll call, please, Jenny.
Mayor Vogel,
Aye.
council members Robinson,
Aye.
Faunus,
Aye.
Mulebauer,
Aye.
On to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
Make that motion, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Robinson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Mulebauer. Any discussion? Kevin?
No, sir.
Amy?
Well, I just had a question, but it's not gonna change my vote.
That's all right. You can go ahead and ask it. right now.
Oh, okay. I'll have to. I just had a question, couple questions for Darcy. On for the payment of claims, page 37. It says, sorry, I gotta get there. It says $116 for the city of Coon Rapids seal coating. And I think it may have said that last month too, so I was just curious as to what that was.
I'll let you.
Sure. So, Mayor and Council, that is to be part of a consortium that we belong to, with Coon Rapids being the primary.
Okay.
And that, so we're in that consortium, we get a better price for seal coating, for line painting, for the different services we need every year.
Oh,
We're part of a much bigger group, get a much better deal on everything,
so we pay $116.
to be a part of it.
To be a part of this?
No, not a month. I believe that's, I'll double check,
Oh,
but I believe it's not a month. I think that's for the year.
oh, okay, and then we get a better discount.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. And then, on page 70, it says, charger repairs for $14,253. And I kind of think it said that last month too. And I just was wondering, was that an insurance claim?
Yep, there's actually two insurance claims on,
Oh, for very
Police
similar
vehicles.
amounts? I only wrote down the one.
yeah, they were different, yeah, there are different amounts, but there's one that somebody hit somebody and then there's another one that they hit a deer.
Okay. All right, those were my only questions. I really do read everything on there, and there's always a half a dozen things that, what was that for? So I may ask. Thank you.
Joe, any questions, Joe?
No, I have nothing. Thank you.
Okay, so I have, we're gonna have to do roll call on this. So roll call, please, Jenny.
Mayor Vogel,
Aye.
council members Mulebauer,
Aye.
Robinson,
Aye.
Faunus,
Aye.
On to meeting open to the public. Anybody wishing to speak, please come forward, state your name and address, and briefly state what you would like. Anybody? Not seeing anybody, so we're gonna move on to old business. The Bluffs of Rum River, second reading. Beth?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mayor and Council, can everybody see the screen? I'll just ask. Make
Yep.
sure it works.
It's not.
Hold on one
popping up
Okay,
on
I
ours.
think they're, you go.
There it is.
Good, okay. So tonight, there are several applications in front of you that relate to the Bluffs of Rum River development. This is a site that's about 112 acres located between Highway 47 and the Rum River, just north of Ambassador Boulevard. Largely an undeveloped area with quite a few natural features to mention. So as it's adjacent to the Rum River, this entire site is within the urban Rum River Management District. So that comes with its whole host of different requirements. There are also wetland areas and floodplain, particularly closer to the river, and then some bluffs and steep slopes as well. So once you get done taking out all of the natural features, you're left with about 67 buildable acres on this site. So this is a project that the city has been working on for several years. So the applicant first brought in a comprehensive plan amendment in 2021. That was approved. And what that really did was amend a majority of the land to medium density residential. And then it reduced the amount of commercial land to just a small corner in the south area of the site. Then in October of 2022, there were some additional approvals that were granted. So this included a plan unit development. So that's the first reading of that ordinance to rezone all of this land to a plan unit development. There was also a preliminary plat and then a conditional use permit for public roads that were all approved in that October of 2022. So those are the approvals that are currently on the property today. But what has been brought forward now this summer is an amendment to that existing preliminary plat, as well as a second conditional use permit, again for public roads. So I'll talk about why there's two. So there are a few changes that are proposed from the 2022 plat to the 2025 preliminary plat. Primarily, the big difference is that the unit mix has been changed. So before the entire development included single unit homes, detached townhomes, attached row houses, and then an apartment. And those use types are all still represented, but the numbers of each of those units have been shifted. So now there are more detached townhomes proposed and fewer attached row houses. Because of that change, there were some changes in the average lot size, as well as the setbacks between buildings related to those detached villas. And that's really just a product of how those units have laid out now, being that they're not attached anymore and they're detached. There was also a change relating to the number of apartment units that's proposed. And again, this is a preliminary plat. It may or may likely be changed as the project moves forward, because it is planned to be a phased project. But right now, there's a change to decrease the number of apartment units by 10. And that really relates to a state requirement for an environmental assessment worksheet. Based on the types of units, whether they're detached or attached and things like that, there's a calculation in state statute that you do when a project gets to a certain size. And if you are over the threshold that's set by that state statute, then an environmental assessment worksheet or an EAW is required. And so it was not required back in 2022 with that apartment mix. But in 2025, with changing the amount of detached and attached, they actually crossed that threshold. And so they're proposing fewer apartment units or fewer attached units to make up for that. There is a proposed condition that's in the approval documents that would require staff to, anytime there's another phase of this project, we would be going back and recalculating that number to make sure that if that threshold is exceeded, that an environmental assessment worksheet is done. The other main change to note is that the Western Street, and I'll talk about that in a little bit, it was proposed to be private in 2022. It's now proposed to be public. So these are the two plats side by side. The 2022 plat is on the left, 2025 is on the right. You'll see that the main difference is right in the center of that site, where before it was about half detached units, half attached units, and now that entire central area is proposed to be detached villa units. So same street layout for the most part. The main difference there when we talk about streets is that, again, the area that's in navy on the screen, that was what was proposed to be private originally and is now proposed to be public. So the red street there is the public street that was originally proposed to be public. Because this is an area in the urban Rum River Management District, conditional use permit to construct a public road is required. And so in 2022, that CUP was approved for that red street. There was not a CUP approved for the Navy Street because those were intended to be private streets. And so that's why there's a CUP request in front of you this evening as well. Parking, there are different parking requirements in the code depending on the type of use that we're talking about. So single unit detached, the detached townhomes, and the attached row houses all have specific parking requirements. Those are not intended to be changed with this plan unit development. So the development would be adhering to the typical code standards. I wanted to point out the requirement for guest parking for the attached row houses. There are 26 attached row houses that are proposed with the amended plat, which means that there need to be 13 guest spaces provided. In the plat that was submitted to staff for review, there were 6 spaces provided, and they were within the public right of way, but they were private spaces. And so that's not something that the city typically allows. And so we've communicated with the applicant that the suggestion that providing an exhibit of on-street parking to show, are there 13 stalls that could be parked on the public street, as opposed to creating some sort of parking lot for guest parking. The Planning Commission reviewed this preliminary plat amendment as well as the CUP request at their July meeting. We did have a few members of the public show up and provide some comment, primarily about traffic. We also discussed the involvement of the outside agencies for this application review. So MnDOT, the DNR, and Anoka County. And then we did discuss a little bit the alignment of 241st Avenue. That's not something that's proposed to be changed with this 2025 amendment, but it was something that was determined back in 2022. So with that, the Planning Commission did unanimously recommend approval of both the preliminary plat amendment and the CUP. And so tonight, staff has prepared draft approval documents for the various requests. Those motions are all on page 53, but what we're really talking about tonight is acting on the second reading of the PUD ordinance, and then a resolution of publication by summary of that ordinance, followed by the preliminary plat amendment, and then the conditional use permit. So the applicant is here tonight. Otherwise, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Kevin?
I have no questions at this time, sir.
Amy?
My only question is, I wasn't here when it was originally approved, so, there hasn't been there's been no start to the development there, correct? So when, what's the delay and when would that occur? Any timeline?
Yeah. So Mayor and Council, that's probably a better applicant question. But yep, I'm sure he'd be happy to answer for you.
The applicant here. Come forward, please. State your name and.
My name's Todd Christensen, 6150 202nd Street, Forest Lake. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, staff, thanks for hearing us tonight. And we plan on starting right away. We're set to close with the landowner on September 5th. Hopefully we can work something out with the city, maybe even get an early grading permit to get started to try to beat the winter. One thing that I wanted to mention tonight that I hope this doesn't throw a wrench into anything, but the reason things have changed over there is, it's been an evolution of the market that we've seen. We want to see lower association dues. One of the reasons we went from private to public, one of the big reasons, these villa homes are more entry level, especially the ones on the Blue Road. They're going to be built by a specific builder that, Centra Homes. They've committed to all 38 of those homes. Then we have the 18 villa homes along the main street. Those are set right now and drawn out at 32 foot wide for the building pads. The builder who is committing to the river lots, which are going to be like 800,000 and up homes for value, is very concerned about the villa homes across the street. What they look like. They don't want to have $1 million house and then across the street you have a $350,000 villa home. So he decided he wants all 18 of those. So he wants to buy those villa homes. We agreed to that. We took them away from Centra. And the caveat is he wants 38 foot wide pads. So what we would end up doing is going from 18 on that primary road to 16. So we would actually be decreasing the amount of units. You know, it's an evolving process, you know, and we kind of have to go with what the market shows, what the builders want. I think it's a good idea. Both builders agreed to it. So we have all of phase one committed to and sold. So we're pretty excited about that. We want to get started as soon as we can. But happy to answer any other questions.
And the apartment building, what phase is that in?
You know, we haven't really started marketing that yet much. We hope to have a commitment to that before the end of the year. So I would say that could come as early as next year.
Joel, you got any questions or?
I have nothing further at this time. Thank you.
I do know, I have
Go
a
ahead,
question. The commercial area, the red area in the southwest corner, what do you anticipate for that down the road?
That's open for discussion. We haven't marketed that either as of yet. So there's maybe a number of uses. We'll be talking to the city about that and, you know, maybe what some of the expectations might want to be for that restaurant or something fun, hopefully.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Any questions? Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mayor.
Just one quick question for Paul, is the only question I have. So the whole public street part of it, you're comfortable with the whole moving that to public?
Yes, sir.
Do you prefer, and I'm just out of curiosity question in general, do you prefer that to the private street scenario?
Mayor and council, it depends on the situation. I think it's definitely situation specific. In this case, Public Works has no problem. It'll be just like any other. We'll just fold it into the mix.
Anybody else, any other questions? And then do I need a motion on the ordinance and then roll call? So do I have a motion for ordinance 301, approving rezoning of the said property? Rezoning 23-925 St. Francis Boulevard Northwest from R3 and B2 to the Bluffs of Rum River PUD.
Mr. Mayor, I think Joe has a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Oh, no, I was just gonna make the motion when you were
Okay.
done. I was just
Sorry.
stating my claim.
Motion by Councilman Mulebauer. Do I have a second?
I'll second, Mayor.
Second by Councilman Robinson. Roll call, please.
Mayor Vogel,
Aye.
Councilmembers Newbauer,
Aye.
Thomas. Aye. Robinson.
Aye.
On to resolution 2025-39, authorizing the summary publication of ordinance 301. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Robinson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Fawnis. Roll call, please, Jenny.
Mayor Vogel,
Aye.
Councilmembers Robinson.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Newbauer.
Aye.
On to resolution 2025-40, approving a preliminary plat amendment for the Bluffs of Rum River Development. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion again, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Robinson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Fawnis. Roll call, please, Jenny.
Mayor Vogel.
Aye.
Councilmembers Thomas.
Aye.
Newbauer.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
On to resolution 2025-41, approving a conditional use permit for the Bluffs of Rum River Development for the construction of public roads within the Rum River Management District. Do I have a motion? I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
I'll second, Mayor.
Second by Councilman Robinson. Roll call, please, Jenny.
Mayor Vogel,
Aye.
Councilmembers Newbauer,
Aye.
Robinson,
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
On to new business. Joe. Walk-in cooler upgrade.
Mayor and council, tonight I am requesting. Can you hear me now? Okay, tonight I'm requesting the addition of a walk-in cooler at the municipal liquor store. The cost is roughly going to be $50,000 of funds that are already set aside for the liquor store. The reasonings for having a walk-in cooler, more efficient for the staff, easier to stock and rotate, easier for customers to grab and maybe even grab more. With the new cooler, we'd get a new condenser, which would also replace the older current condenser on that side of the store. Happy to answer any questions.
Joel, any questions?
When we did the remodel, was that cooler? I assume that cooler wasn't replaced, then that's an older cooler.
That's correct. I believe that's the original cooler on the right side of the store.
I don't have anything further.
Amy,
I don't,
Kevin?
I have no questions. I just want to commend you on the job you've done up to this point since you took over the store. You made good prudent moves and the money to being spent is coming out of the liquor fund itself, so you've generated your own income to help pay for the more enhancements. So I appreciate what you've been doing.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna chime in and second what Kevin just said there. Doing a good job and hope- trust your judgment on it, so. I think we're good to go, so, the resolution again here. Yes or no? Do we have to vote on this?
Yes, so the action is council to approve
Okay.
staff to proceed with the walk-in cooler upgrade and use Fritz store equipment. With the low quote of $49,949.
I'll make that motion.
By
Do I have to
Councilman-
repeat it?
No,
No, okay.
you're good. Councilman Fawnes made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Mulebauer. Roll call, please.
Mayor Vogel,
Aye.
council members Mulebauer,
All right.
Faunus,
Aye.
Robinson,
Hi.
On to NWOA Operator Award.
Yes,
Paul.
Mayor and Council, you have a special visitor with us this evening. A little over a week and a half ago, this gentleman Parrish was presented with, it's in the business for the Minnesota Wastewater Operators Association. This particular award is for a Class A plant. He's a member of a very select few of individuals. It's a lifelong achievement. There's not a lot of names on that list. And I asked Parrish to be here tonight because Public Works is quite proud of him. And we wanted to congratulate him again publicly of the accomplishment. And I would, if everyone would join me. In a congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And if council has any questions this evening, I'm much more confident with Parrish today on my left side here as far as water questions. So it's incredible how my confidence builds when Parrish is with me. So feel free, council, if you have any questions or make a comment, Parrish.
Kevin?
I just want to congratulate you. It's nice of you to be recognized by your peers for something like this. And will we be invited to the Hall of Fame?
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
No, we are, you've done a really good job. We appreciate you hanging in with the city and doing what you do, and you're underappreciated by most accounts. So thank you.
Thank you.
Almost 21 years of service coming up this fall with the city. So.
Thank you, Dave.
Joe?
Great job, Parrish. I appreciate it. I don't know if I figure we have some people in the audience that might be curious too about, I know with the chlorides and whatnot. We have some people there in the audience, so maybe just touch on the chlorides and then what our goal is there. And the fact that we're trying to avoid large costs to have to upgrade the plant by the state and their regulations. Just want to touch on that for us. Just take the opportunity to educate the people that
So Mayor and Council, actually, it's twofold of Parrish being here this evening. Mr. Mulebauer, he will also touch on that at the backside of my quarterly report as well. So if you don't mind waiting a little bit, Parrish will bring that up. So
that's just fine. Thank you. And congratulations
Thank you,
again,
sir.
Parrish.
Thank you, Joe.
Amy?
Just congratulations to you. I'm new here, so I'm not familiar with everything that you do for us, but it sounds like you do it pretty well. So
Thank you.
You're gonna jump on the bandwagon, of course, but I just want the public to understand. When you have a really good employee who's a gem, and I had the opportunity, no, but I had the opportunity to take a all-day tour when the MPCA was here and everything else, and to watch him in action. It's one thing to have the knowledge and the skills to do the job. He also has the personality for the job, and it was very evident to me how outstanding your skill sets are. So I greatly appreciate what you're doing, and the award was well deserved, and thank you on behalf of the city. So
Thank you very much, Mayor and Council. And although this award has a single name on it, it is certainly a team effort. and I couldn't do it alone. I think department heads, the whole city staff for support. And, you know, I would also like to thank the city of St. Francis. It is the resources provided for me to attend the continuing ed classes, the training sessions, and the investment in our wastewater treatment facility made this possible too. So, thank you guys for your support always. It's appreciated, and thank you very much. So,
Thanks, Barry.
yeah.
On to the work session request, Kate.
Yes, Mayor and Council, before you tonight is a work session request for Monday, August 25th. We could start at 5:30 or 6, and this is an opportunity to hear about the Bethel Shared Fire Service. So, look at the JPA. I'm happy to answer any questions. If we need to, we can move it out from 5:30, but that is the night that we've also informed Bethel, so we may have their and or staff participate.
The 25th is fine, I think, the earlier the better.
25th work for you?
I might be out of town at the time, but I'm fully aware of what this is all about and been a part of it as it's been going on for the last 2+ years, so. My vote is yay, it's coming.
Joe, any input?
I should be able to make it,
Excellent.
any times, whatever works best for you guys.
I know I prefer the 5:30, but I'm open to whatever will work for anybody else. Let's just go with the 5:30. And just so the public understands what we're doing here, it's a work session. We're getting close to, we currently have a joint power agreement with the city of Bethel to share the fire service, and this is kind of a short-term deal. Now we're looking for a longer-term thing. We're looking for at least a 10-year joint power agreement between the two cities for the fire service. So if you want to join us, all these are open to the public. So 5:30 p.m. on Monday, August 25th, right here at this location. On to meeting open to the public again. Anybody wish to speak? See no one. On to council member report, or excuse me, Public Works report. Paul.
Very good. Mayor and Council, before this evening is the second quarter Public Works report. I'm gonna came up a little short. We were doing interviews today for our second interviews for our current position, so forgive me, this will be brief.
Yep, I'm working on it.
Perfect.
Yep. So some of the things we worked on in the second quarter here, lining up the work being done up front here. It's just about finished as far as the landscaping. We are within a month of a rough concept for the warming house ice rink, so that's coming. We have I'm hoping to have something by Parks Commission a week from this Thursday. We meet. One of the most interesting things we did that a lot of folks didn't notice was the gazebo, putting a new copper penny roof on the gazebo. Some folks did, some didn't. A good friend of mine drove by multiple times, didn't even realize that we had changed that at all. So we also had a culvert replacement out on 238th. They're starting to fail. This was the second of 3 this year. We're noticing, I don't have the history on it as far as them failing. Usually you get 40 to 50 years out of them. We had just had to do another one on 241st. So I'm seeing a trend here. Hopefully it stops at the last one we did. But again, I just want to remind council, that's all stormwater. Anything to do with that is all stormwater money. Culverts now it used to be, a few $100s to $1,000. Culverts now are the last, just to give you the council an idea, the last culvert we had to purchase was $5,000 for a 20-foot culvert. So again, these prices are changing astronomically with some of the products that we're using. I just want everyone to be aware of it. Another thing we had to.
Sorry, Paul, just.
Yep. Yes, sir.
On that, I assume we're changing to poly from galvanized, or is it to galvanized?
Yep, that's sticking with galvanized. Okay. The only two are in a case like on the road, poly is not acceptable. Okay. We have to either do galvanized or aluminized. Aluminized is more money. So we've just stuck with the the galvanized, they have a shelf life, like I say, between 40 or 50 years, so a lot will change by then. Another thing Public Works has done, it was a big hit to lose Tom this spring. Tom was a wonderful recycling coordinator, and I hope he's watching tonight because he did an amazing job. And we're changing now, fulfilling his shoes, and the program's going to alter a little bit. There's 3 of us involved now versus 1. We only had 75 cars at our July recycle event. It was a little bit disappointing. We were hoping for more. So we're working on that. We are in the process literally this week of second interviews for his replacement. I was just in one before I came up here. I'll have that recommendation 2 weeks from tonight. We had a very, very good turnout, and we're so thankful that we had so many applicants for the job. The group had great choices. With that, I'm actually going to turn this over to Paris because he's here tonight. I brought his report with as well. Paris is, he knows this place inside and out. I will say that we were inspected by Department of Health in May, and I believe the 5-second rule doesn't apply to our water plant and our well house. If you drop a sandwich in there, you can pick it up an hour later, and it's amazing how this guy keeps his facilities. So we'll let him kind of run through it real quick just because he's here tonight.
Remember, I have to get my head through the door.
You're fine. Thank you, Paris.
Mayor, Council, tonight before you is the water and wastewater quarterly report. Surprising to me, our actual volume of water pumped was increased this year versus last year. I thought with the wet spring and early summer that we've experienced, I figured that would start to trend down, but it hasn't. We did have an RPZ up at our fill station fill. We had to have that replaced and then re-inspected. And as Paul was mentioning, the Minnesota Department of Health was here in May, and they do a pretty thorough sanitary inspection of all the water facilities to include the water treatment plant, the well house, and the tower. Brian Omar, district engineer, a feather in the cap of our team, says that this is probably one of his top 3 facilities that he enjoys to visit. So he doesn't really have much to worry about, which is good to hear from the Department of Health. So one of the big things that we got done were the cameras, the security cameras up at the water treatment plant. It's certainly nice to have a 360-degree view of that facility now, certainly more secure than it was. In years past, we did have the 4 cameras, but they were very limited in their viewing. They were actually installed in 2007 when the facility was built. As you can see by the wastewater treatment plant report, the facility continues to operate and produce a quality effluent that I think the MPCA would be envious of. And then going into one of the things that we did in May, and I think I mentioned this at one of our work sessions that we had, staff actually was able to rent 2 portable samplers that we use throughout town for the collection of chloride data. What we found is that there were parts of town that I thought would be lower, but were actually higher, and vice versa. I think of the 7 or 8 different lift stations that we sampled, only 3 had sampling data that would be below our projected limit of 354 milligrams per liter, coming up here January 1st of 2026. So the plan that was pretty much implemented today. Tomorrow at Unite to Unite, there will be softener or chloride data pamphlets out, necessarily asking our residents if they wouldn't mind reducing the amount of hardness level on their softener to 10 versus whatever setting they have. I have worked with Councilmember Muehlbauer for about a month and a half on this. He is on the system. He does have a softener. So it was really accessible to acquire data from him as far as sampling goes. I think that the benefit for the customer, the resident, you should see a reduced salt use and water use because it would be regenerating less frequently. I know, when the wastewater treatment plant was built, that was a pretty contentious project as far as the citizens go. if we don't get our chlorides in check, the long-term, short-term, ramification would be a modification at the water treatment facility. That's certainly something that we're trying to delay. I don't know if we cannot do that at all, but certainly delay it would be a great thing. And that starts with our chlorides. Hoping to get those chlorides under our limit for the foreseeable future. That would be an awesome thing. So.
Do you want to, I know, I don't want to put you on the spot.
Yep.
But do you want to give them an estimated price tag on what that would look at?
Yeah, so early preliminary estimates park that at about $10 to $20 million. And at kind of where we're at right now, I can't say that we're ascending rapidly with our levels, but I would say that once new projects come in, whether it be business or homes, those chlorides will probably start to increase. And unfortunately, the wastewater treatment plant is not equipped to treat for chlorides. So that modification would actually be up at the water treatment facility. So I just wanted to clarify that a little bit.
Can you tell us what chlorides are and who's mandating, what's making you do all this?
So the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency is the governing agency of anything wastewater. So every 5 years, we're issued a National Pollution Discharge Elimination Systems permit. Within that permit are all the constituents, limits, and parameters that we have to abide by. One of those parameters is chlorides. Chlorides is very harmful to aquatic life in streams, rivers, lakes. We happen to discharge our effluent to the Seeley Brook. If the chloride level, there's a lot of scientific and engineering that goes into that in deciphering what limit is given to a certain specific city. So for us, our limit was given to us, and one of the basis on that was the dilution factor of the Seeley Brook and the proportion to our effluent. So our effluent that goes into the Seeley Brook, anybody who's seen the Seeley Brook, who's driven over it on Highway 47 south of town, realizes or sees that it's not necessarily a large river like the Rum River. So chlorides, the main source of chlorides into the wastewater treatment influent primarily comes from water softener regeneration. It's the salt that is used to regenerate the resin bed in the softeners in order to keep that water softener operating at peak parameters. So, there's a lot of people like to think that, they have soft water, and I guess that's kind of up for debate on, your preference. What's soft water? So by increasing or decreasing your hardness level on your softener to 10, you're still getting what's classified as soft water, but perhaps maybe not as soft as it once was. Anything over 12, our raw water hardness in town is about 13 to 14 milligrams per liter. Anything over that, as far as your softener is concerned, it's essentially wasting salt. You're not really removing anything because it's already been removed. So that's why we're asking for this decrease down to 10 milligrams per liter. So.
Two questions and one.
Yep.
If your water is harder at home, you're going to use more soap supposedly, and whether it's shampoo, dish soap, laundry soap, etc.
Yep.
That's the old adage that you'll use more soap. And second of all, what about the people who weren't worthy of a plaque? Your peers and city people, what are they doing? We're not alone in this dilemma, I would take it. So those two things.
No, chloride is certainly a state issue. We are not the only ones that have to deal with this. And then the second part of that,
The soap part, the residue, soap residue, what will that do to the effluent then? Because you're taking away one, but now you're gonna add more
Yep. So,
detergent byproduct.
and that's just it. We're not necessarily asking you to increase it over into a classification of hard water. It will still be soft or classified as soft water. It's just going to be on the upper end of that. So you might not even notice a difference. It's a personal preference, I guess, if you will. You might not. But on the flip side, if the soap lather or increased rates, I mean, that's kind of where we're looking at here.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I wasn't thinking the lather. I was thinking also the residue that goes through your wastewater treatment plant can only take out so much stuff. Is there phosphorus in, or what's in detergent? What's the byproduct of detergent that's cumbersome for
Yeah,
you.
phosphorus, so our facility, that is a good question. So phosphorus is one of the constituents that we can remove.
Hmm.
The facility was designed to remove phosphorus, so we are a biological nutrient removal facility, so the soaps and the phosphorus is, yes, we can remove that, so.
And so the lead time that the state or the federal government has given you to rein this in, so to speak, what was the time span again, or your window?
Well, they haven't necessarily given us a window per se, but we are right now, actually tomorrow, our brand new permit will be submitted to the MPCA for review. So with that, we have to assume, I would actually bet on it, that we will see new language pertaining to our chlorides. One thing is, we are somewhat in control of our destiny, if you will, not being told to do. And so I think we have the fortune of being able to kind of still have the options to use to get this down for us to decide when and how we do this versus being told. That's somewhat how the wastewater treatment facility was in 2013. We were essentially told that we had to do this at that point. So right now we have options. And we are playing or asking our citizens to assist us with this. I understand that nobody likes to be told this kind of news, but this is
Especially when
where
it hits
we
your
are.
pocketbook as well.
It does.
So we're preparing now for the future. We don't know when the deadlines are in play, but
Right. We're, hypothetically around 2030, if we keep on this current rate with our chlorides, that's probably when, because then we would be non-compliant. And once you become non-compliant, that's when the MPCA is going to step in and say, okay, you need to do a corrective action somewhere and get this problem fixed, so.
and then as far, we've only bandied this about, it's not gospel as of yet, but we've talked about maybe subsidizing or helping a voucher per se for better softeners per homeowner where applicable and whatnot. And again, like I mentioned at our last meeting, I think 3 years ago now, we spent $600,000 on water meters to help improve water usage and conservation, and that all worked out fairly well over time. There was X amount of over 1,600 meters replaced in town, and now it's high, it's efficient, it's new age, it's now, so.
Yep.
But the softener portion, that might be something coming down the road. Again, there's been a lot of misinformation I see bandied around outside the internet as usual about why, what, and why we do things, but this is the answer here that we're hearing tonight. We're preparing for the future. It's not that we want to do things, it's we have to do things. So those who don't like it, some of it comes with city living and some of it doesn't. I live in the country. I pay every 3 years, I have to pay over $460 to have my sewer pumped. That's one thing, but I don't have I don't have city water bills to pay, but so there's a balance here. We're one of those communities that has a little bit of both, but really like to step it on flat that, it's not something we want to do, but it's education. We're doing it with care and engineering and, competency of our group here that runs our wastewater treatment plant. So anybody else who's out there just, casting mud around saying, the city's just doing it, come listen, come learn, I guess, is all I can say.
Mhm.
That's all.
I had a couple questions.
Yeah.
What is our chloride levels as compared to other cities that are similar size?
Mhm.
And secondly, what can a property owner do that isn't connected to the wastewater treatment plant to help with chloride levels?
So certainly, as far as the softener is concerned, the same kind of rules apply if you do not live within our MUSA. If you have a septic tank, sodium or high chlorides can actually be a detriment to the groundwater too, because that septic tank goes into a leach bed and then infiltrates into the ground. So, although it's not our problem with the wastewater treatment plant effluent, it's still a concentrated amount of chloride. And the second part, I'm sorry, Ms.
Oh, just how do we compare our current chloride levels compared to others?
Yeah, so, and that's kind of arbitrary. That's kind of hard to say just simply because of the size of our town, our makeup, if you will, as far as business and home, the amount of water that enters into the sanitary system. So it's kind of hard for us to kind of evaluate where we are or where we compare to other cities, so. We certainly don't have the highest, I can tell you that, but we certainly don't have the lowest either.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Joe?
I got two questions. I think one's for Parrish and one would be for Paul. Paul, for you, it's more of a, I guess, just explanation, just because I've been kind of engaging people and people have been asking me about the landscaping. But before I get to that, just to kind of have you update everybody on that. Parrish, I wanted to ask you too. Somebody asked me as well about the fluoride in the water and if we add the fluoride or why do we add the fluoride or the fact that that could be labeled as a neurotoxin, and if you could touch on that.
So we're mandated by the state of Minnesota to maintain a certain fluoride level. I believe it's a state statute. We do add a minimum amount of fluoride. We do have a natural occurring fluoride level in our water of about 0.3 milligrams per liter. We add about 0.3 milligrams of fluoride to bring it up to our variant level of 0.7, 0.65, 0.7, no higher than that. I know that fluoride is kind of a hot topic, and I don't know if I'm necessarily qualified to speak upon the issues, I guess, if you will, as far as the neurological or anything else about fluoride.
I appreciate that.
Mhm.
And then Paul, I guess just if you want to touch on, I mean, there's a few residents that reached out about the landscaping and why we're ripping it up, and I feel that you could probably explain it better than I ever could. So I'd like you to just throw that out there for people that want to hear it again.
Sure. So Mayor and Council, it was brought to my attention several weeks ago that the landscaping was subpar. I was in agreement. It was my directive at that point to start getting bids and get the problem corrected. It's as simple as that. And we are within a couple of days of it being finished at this point. So personally, the Clark Companies has done an amazing job out there. It is completely different looking than it was with the job that was left after the building was put up. So.
Can I have a follow-up, Mayor?
Sure.
What's it gonna look like now? There's nice green, black pulverized dirt out there. What's the end result? What's the end look?
Mayor and Council hydro seeding, and then we are starting watering immediately thereafter. So
As far as boulevard with a sprinkler not being allowed, how do you maintain that?
So Mayor and Council, it's not that watering's not allowed on the boulevard. It's that we couldn't have water lines out on the boulevard.
That's what I meant.
So I think that explains.
But how will you maintain the watering?
A sprinkler can throw water anywhere between 5 to 20 feet. So, but just by changing heads, I should be able to water the boulevard.
Oh, okay.
That's my plan.
All right, thank you.
I just wanted to add something. I'm really happy with the color of the mulch. I'm glad we changed that. And you're
Very
right,
good.
it looks totally different. It looks like they're doing a good job out there. So thank you for that. But to Joe's point too, on social media, people were wondering what was going on. And I think that we chose the right company to do it, but I just wanted to reiterate, I feel like Stahl should have stood behind their work and helped us do it. I was disappointed that they didn't do that. But we had a choice. We could leave it the way that it was, basically, because you went to them asking for it to be repaired and we were told that was not an option. So we had to do something. We either had to leave it the way that it looked, or we had to choose to redo it. And that's what we chose to do. Even though I feel like it should have been fixed, but it wasn't. And so we just kind of had to move forward. So for those of people on social media that had questions about that, it was maybe 4 weeks ago in the meeting that we had a big conversation about it as well. But I just wanted to say, I think it looks good and I'm really happy. I was not happy with the mulch before, so thank you for your efforts.
You're welcome.
Joe, anything else?
No, thank you.
I don't have anything other, I appreciate everything you guys are doing. Always different struggles on different days, so. Thank you.
Welcome. You're welcome.
On to council member reports. Bill, you wanna go first?
Sure, why not? One, I want to apologize to you guys for having to do roll call all the time, and you too, Jenny. And then for me, I went to the work session with everybody else. I've engaged on social media with lots of residents. Some positive, some negative. To me, I think it's something that sometimes you're better off keeping your mouth shut too sometimes, and I have a hard time doing that, but I feel like too, if we can engage with people, we want to engage with them. We've been begging for engagement, at least since I've been there, which is quite some time. And the fact that we do have some engagement now, regardless of how they got there, whether it's because they got mad enough, or whatever the case may be, or maybe they're just interested. That's awesome. It's hard to get engagement as it is. So I think when we have a chance to engage, we have to try to engage. And I made some comments at the work session that I feel were taken out of context on social media, but regardless, the whole purpose of my words, I don't feel I need to apologize for them. One person commented that maybe it'll teach me to or something when it comes to residents. I don't have anything to apologize. It's if you listen to the context from frustration as far as getting involved, getting the engagement, the more people come to us with their ideas or their concerns or questions or whatever they have, the better we can represent them. Unfortunately, and I get it. I mean, unless you're doing what we do, which, we're here, we see everything at some point when it comes to us, some before others, if you go to the planning commission and whatnot. We see things come in front of us that most people don't think about, they don't look at, and to sit there and watch. I mean, I posted the videos online on some of those comments to say, hey, watch it, and view it for yourself, because again, it's not the funnest viewing, but for me, I just, I want to have that engagement, and I hope I don't come across as a jerk, but there is sometimes I might. It's tough when you're doing like typing on social media, because it kind of depends on how the reader feels at the time they read it too. I know I'm guilty of that myself, where I think somebody's being mean to me, or has a tone in a text. I don't know how that's possible, but just wanted to throw that out there. I do appreciate the involvement for the residents that are getting involved, and I hope that they encourage others to get involved and pay attention to things going on. It only helps us better represent them and better educate people too. I think ignorance is a choice in the age of information here. I was very ignorant when I was mad and upset about the initial water rates, and that's how I got here. And then I educated myself, and I'm not happy with some of the answers, but you do understand things more, and I think that does go a long way. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Joel. Amy?
I just, since the last meeting, I attended the work session meeting with that last Monday. And also the local government officials meeting Wednesday at Bunker Hills, and that was very informative. We talked a lot about, they had presentations about recycling, waste management, community development, and it was a good meeting. That's all I have.
Thank you. Amy, Kevin?
I also attended the work session. I do enjoy them. They're spirited and lively, and we get a lot done. And you can listen to those as well at your leisure. Like Joe said, somebody accused me also of having no faith in our residents. Well, I want to say au contraire. All I want to do is get the communication out there. And those people who can sit out there and spew stuff on the internet and just, be nice and comfortable and hide behind that. Those are the people I have no faith in by all means. So, but we want people to be involved. It's all just everything Joe said, we appreciate the ones that do get engaged and come out and talk, and the ones who want to call, write, and or even complaints, we accept them all. But I have plenty of faith in our residents, and otherwise I wouldn't be sitting here doing this job. So also attend the JLIC Joint Law Enforcement Council meeting with the police chief, although I was a couple minutes late. I just want to say what a great speaker and individual Brad Johnson, our county attorney, is. He is, excuse me, he's a real pleasure to listen to, and he's has our county well grounded and a lot of common sense there. So that's all I got.
Thanks, Kevin. Let's see here, on to the Moco County Fire Protection Committee meeting. July 24th, the work session on July 28th, and on July 30th, the APA between St. Francis and Bethel Fire, which just bottom line is, that's why it's going to be coming for us on the work session. We are passing it off at this point to our attorneys to review the language in there and bring it back to us for us to review. And I'm sure we bounced back a couple times back and forth, but right now it's in process of going to the attorneys for review before it comes to us, so. And lastly, just to Joe and Kevin's points, I just want the public to understand, I don't engage with social media. I absolutely refuse to engage with social media, and there's one major reason why, is because you cannot get you can get tidbits of information, but this world's become crazy where we think we can get a news story in 1 minute. If it's any longer than 1 minute, we're not gonna watch it. And you can't possibly do a news story correct without doing some homework and research. I get it. But once or twice a year, I'll school board, for instance, once or twice a year, I'll either watch a meeting or I'll read the minutes. It's incumbent on us to stay engaged to some level. I'd be the first one to admit, I'm not watching every school board meeting. That's the school district that represents me. I'm not reading every minute. But I think we as citizens have to go directly to the source as well. That's why social media, other than making you aware of something going on, I encourage you to go beyond the post, whatever's on social media, and come to any one of our staff who are more than qualified, more than willing to answer your questions. Come to us if you don't feel you're getting the right answers, or not the right answers, but you're not getting responded to, because it's incumbent on us to do our due diligence as citizens. And again, I know watching a 2-hour plus hour of the work session, that's painful. I get it. I'm here, so I understand that. I'm not saying tune in for everything, but I am saying we gotta do a better job of trying to tune in, especially when we know there's some subject that is near and dear to us, or something that's got our attention. So upcoming events, National Night Out tomorrow, 5 to 7 p.m. If you want to take your shots at me, I will be in the dunk tank, so I don't know exactly what time, but come take your shots. August 13th, stay home safe for kids from 4 to 6 p.m. August 14th, Parks Commission, and our next regular city council meeting, August 18th at 6 p.m. With that, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
There's two more, Mayor. You got Cohen, cop of the Cohen, and planning commission.
Go ahead. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Kevin. August 20th, the planning commission meeting, which has been canceled, and then August 21st, Cone with the Cop at 4 p.m. Thanks, Kevin.
Yep.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Councilman Fawnin. Do I have a second?
I'll second, Mayor.
Second by Councilman Robinson. Roll call, please, Jenny.
Mayor Vogel?
Aye.
Councilmember Robinson?
Aye.
Bonnet? Aye. Mueller?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 6:58 p.m.